All right, happy Tuesday. It is time for another Data Center Minute brought to you by Slipstream AI Infrastructure. So, the big question for today is, are data centers really raising your electric bill? You have probably heard that AI data centers are making your electric bill go up. And there's some truth to that, or may have been some truth to that in the past. But there is a lot more to the story, and the story, quite frankly, has changed a bit, right? So, yes, large data centers consume an enormous amount of electricity, but here's what most people don't realize. Many new data center projects are paying hundreds of millions of dollars for dedicated substations, transmission lines, grid upgrades that are needed to serve their facilities. Increasingly, regulators are requiring that those costs be passed on and borne by the large consumer, the data center company, rather than the residential taxpayer. Recent actions in states like Virginia, Texas, Louisiana are examples of that trend, but I'm sure there's many more states that I have not done business in yet that are experiencing the exact same thing. At the same time, federal regulators have been pushing utilities to improve long-term transmission planning so that the grid is expanded in a more deliberate way for future demand, including data centers and new manufacturing as well. Think about it this way. If a utility is building a brand new transmission line, a larger substation, modernizing the aging infrastructure because of all this new industrial demand, the infrastructure does not just disappear. It does not all get consumed by just that data center. It becomes part of the grid that everybody shares. Better transmission reliability, additional substations, modernized equipment, increased redundancy, preventing blackouts, various things like that, greater capacity for future homeowners and businesses. And like in Texas, Senate Bill 6 requires that even these large data center companies are able to curtail completely from the grid if there's an emergency type situation where we need to make sure that homeowners do in fact get power. So those investments can improve the overall grid's resiliency, although whether the residential bill actually goes up or down, really depends on a whole lot more than just data center companies. Let's be honest, right? It depends on the utility companies and how they allocate their costs. It depends on the regulators and what they do from a tax standpoint. It includes fuel prices and many other factors. It's not just data centers. Think of it like widening the highway. All right, if a large employer is moving to an area, a town, and going to bring lots of business, lots of new workers, lots of new residents, that may help to justify the building of a new highway. And the employer and the employees do use it, but everyone gets to drive on the road, on the new highway. So, should data centers pay their fair share? Absolutely. Should homeowners be protected against unfair cost increases? Absolutely. I think we're all on the same page here. The good news is that's exactly the direction that many regulators are moving, requiring large load customers to pay more of their own infrastructure they create while improving the long-term grid planning and resiliency. Conversation should not be data centers versus homeowners. It should be, how do we build the grid that Americans can be proud of, that can be resilient for all of the consumers, and protecting the residential customers as well. If the data centers pay to build out all of their new infrastructure that's needed to serve the load that they're requesting. They pay for that load, and the infrastructure strengthens the local grid. Is that a fair trade? I would love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to see the comments. I'm Keith Borey with Slipstream AI Infrastructure, and this concludes another Data Center Minute. Thank you so much.